Hello children, how are you all? Hope you are all fine and enjoying learning. Welcome to Samveda e-learning program. In today's class, we shall learn about sources of energy. That is the chapter 14th of your 10th standard science. Shall we begin? This is the third session of the chapter. If you are ready, we shall begin. Before starting today's session, we shall have a quick recap. In our previous class, we learned that the sources of energy is classified into two categories. One is conventional source of energy and other one is non-conventional or alternative source of energy. Conventional source of energy are namely fossil fuels, coal, the fossil fuel which is used in thermal power plants, water energy we use in hydropower plants, biomass we use the same in biogas plants, and wind energy is used in wind energy farms. All these sources of energy are having one or the other disadvantages. Therefore, we require another set of source of energy, that is non-conventional or alternative source of energy. Can you just imagine a day without fuel, without machineries, without electricity or without gadgets like TV or mobile? No, we cannot live. We have come long way. Our energy demand is increasing. Therefore, we have to search for the different sources of energy. So, in today's class, we shall see what are the other sources of energy which are coming in our way to meet our demand. Shall we begin? The first and the most suitable energy is solar energy. The next one is energy from sea. Under this category, we have three types: tidal energy, wave energy and ocean thermal energy. And also we have geothermal energy and nuclear energy. All these sources come under non-conventional source of energy. You know, the sun, the star of our solar system, giving out enormous amount of energy. Only part of it reaches our atmosphere, and in that only little is obtained by the earth. Do you know what is that little is? Look at this. The sun is giving out the energy from billions of years. The same rate and same amount of energy is giving from billions of years, and is going to continue the same for further billions of years, 5 billions of years. Therefore, it is considered as inexhaustible source of energy. Therefore, we have to utilize. One of the science writer says, not harnessing the solar energy is a crime. He claims like that, and he is true. We have to harness, otherwise the fossil fuels, the burning of fossil fuels can damage the environment. As far as the solar energy is concerned, our India is considered as the luckiest country because of its position. Look at that. India is located just above the equator, northern hemisphere. Because of its position and because of the inclination, 23.5 degree inclination, India is getting solar energy throughout the year, maximum number of hours every day. Therefore, we have to harness that. Look at this. India receives the solar energy equivalent to more than 5000 trillion kilowatt per year, and daily average varies from 4 to 7 kilowatt hour per meter square. Children, kilowatt hour is the commercial unit. We say it as 1 unit, and for 1 unit we can burn 100-watt bulb for 10 hours, and then you imagine 4 to 7 kilowatt hour per meter square. That is for only meter square of area we are getting this much of energy from the sun, and then imagine large area of India and the quantity of energy we are getting from the sun, that count to 5000 trillion kilowatt hour per year. What are the devices we are using to harness this solar energy? Solar devices are solar cooker, solar water heaters, solar furnaces and solar cells. Let us study them one by one. The first one is solar cooker. Solar cooker is a device used to cook food using sun's heat, and we can heat the food also, and the solar cooker is also used to pasteurize the food. Look at this picture showing the solar cooker. It is a simple device made up of wooden box or the carton box. It is very simple that you can also do at your home. The box is coated with black color. Inside it is coated with black, sometimes even the outer side also coated with black, as you can see in the other picture, the outer part is also coated with black. Do you know why it is coated with black? Yes, you are right. The black body absorbs most of the radiations and heats the food inside the cooker quickly. And one more thing, the inclined plane is a mirror. Why that mirror is kept? You can see so many mirrors are adjusted in the other diagram also. Why it is kept? Let us see the ray diagram to understand that. See, when the light falls on the solar cooker, some of the light rays get penetrated into the box and the other rays are reflected into the box. So, most of the rays are focused inside the box, and anyhow the box is coated with black, it absorbs most of the radiations and cooks the food fast. So, you can have an activity, design and build a solar cooker using low cost material at your home itself, and you can use it. Try to do this with the help of your teachers or your friends. This is another design of the solar cooker. Here they have kept a concave mirror behind the cooker, and the cooker is kept at the principal focus of the mirror. All the radiations from the sun are focused to the cooker and it gets the cooker heated fast, and this is another design of the same kind. Let us see the ray diagram and understand how it works. The parallel rays coming from the sun, after getting reflected from the concave mirror, they get focused at the principal focus where we have kept a cooker. The same principle is applied to the solar furnace also. This is another design of the solar cooker. This solar cooker can be used even in the cold countries because it is vacuum chamber. The pipe what you can see is a vacuum chamber, therefore it holds the heat and it is very useful in cold countries. Look at this. By this you can understand the solar cooker is usable by any strata of the society. Even the poor people can also use the solar cooker, and therefore we have to increase the use of the solar cooker. But why we are not using it? There may be some disadvantages. Let us see what are they. First, advantages and then the disadvantages we can see. Look at the advantages. It is less expensive, environment friendly and user friendly. I think you can understand all these points because we are not spending anything for the fuel, therefore it is less expensive, and even the construction is also simple, and we are not burning any fuel, no smoke, no ash, therefore it is environment friendly and user friendly also. What are the disadvantages? It cannot be used during the night or cloudy days, takes more time to cook food, not suitable for all kind of cooking because we have variety in India and all kind of food cannot be cooked using solar cookers. Example, frying, deep frying cannot be done in the solar cookers. And one more point, rain, wind and other weather conditions affect the cooking. Because of these disadvantages, many are not using. So, we have to develop this and we have to improvise the solar cooker so that everybody can use that. Look at this picture. What it is? It is very well known to you. It is solar water heater. It will be installed on the top floors where sunlight can be obtained directly, and you can see the black pipes and they absorb the solar heat and gets the water heated. Solar water heaters, they use the heat of the sun, and solar water heaters are used in industries as well. In industries, both water or any other working fluid is heated. What is this? Yes, it is solar panel used for the production of electricity. Solar cell is a device which converts light energy directly into electricity. In your previous class, you have learned that we are using fossil fuel and other source of energy to boil the water and to get the steam. That steam rotates the turbine and in turn it produces electricity in the generator. But here in solar cell, the light energy is directly converted into electrical energy. That is the advantage of the solar cell, and this phenomena is known as photovoltaic effect. We were using solar cells in small scale in the calculators, watches and street lamps also, but nowadays because of the increase in the demand of the energy, we are establishing solar power plants. Solar cell is a device which is made up of silicon or germanium material. When the light falls on this silicon or germanium, they liberate electrons, and those electrons and they produce electricity. Solar cell gives out 0.5 to 1 volt potential difference and it can give 0.7 watt of electricity. This is very small quantity, therefore, to get large amount of energy we require so many cells, and these solar cells combine to form solar panel to obtain the energy in terms of megawatts. And to obtain solar energy from the solar cells, the orientation is very much important, and look at the diagram. With respect to India, we have to arrange the solar panels between 13 degree to 26 degree, so that we get the solar light falling on the panels at 90 degree and we get maximum electricity. Look at the animation. The solar panel is arranged on the top of the house and it is giving out the electricity, and one arrow mark you can see it is actually going to the transmission line itself. Do you know what it is? Nowadays most of the houses, they are having these solar cell panels and they get electricity which is sufficient for their household purposes. If excess is produced using some grid system and they are actually selling the excess of electricity to the BESCOM or whatever the authority, and for that the house is paid. Let us see the advantage of solar cell. Solar cell uses no fuel, it is free, no moving parts, so low maintenance, suitable for remote places. It means that some places where transmission lines cannot be put or established, that is remote areas like forests, hilly areas, in those areas the solar panels, they give the sufficient energy for the houses. When there is no moving part in the solar panel, breakage or the connection breakage, these kind of things will not be there, therefore maintenance also free. Solar panels are used in artificial satellites also, and the disadvantage of solar cells are like this. The special quality of silicon which is used in the solar cells is rare, it is limited, therefore this is a disadvantage. Manufacture of solar cell is expensive. Silver used to connect the solar cells is expensive. As you know, silver is costly metal, therefore it is expensive, and we have to overcome all these disadvantages because this is the only source we can rely upon, and the researches are going on. We will have a day where solar energy will be the future energy. Let us move on to the next topic, that is energy from the sea. As I told in the beginning, there are three types of energy we are obtaining from the sea. One is from the tides of the sea, and next one is from the waves of the sea and ocean thermal energy. Let us see one by one. tidal energy. Energy harnessed from the tides of the sea is known as tidal energy. But what is tide? Tides are the rise and falls of the sea water due to the gravitational pull of the moon. Machineries or whatever the turbines will be like this, as you are observing in the picture, and the working will be shown in the next slide like this. Look at this. When there is a rise and fall of the tides, that rotates the turbine and gives you the energy, and this can be harnessed by building the dams at the smaller areas of the ocean, and those dams will harness the tidal energy. Look at the tidal barrages where the dams are built and the turbine is rotating even when there is a rise and also when there is a fall of the water. So, that rotating turbine in turn rotates the coil in the generator and that produces the electricity. I hope you understood. And next is wave energy. Wind blows across the sea and causes the high waves, and kinetic energy of these waves is used to rotate the turbine and produce electricity, as similar to the other cases what you have learnt in the previous classes. Next is ocean thermal energy. This is quite different type of technique. In this, the temperature of the top layer of the ocean and the deeper section, the difference will count to 20 degrees Celsius and it will be up to 2 kilometer depth. This difference will be maintained up to 2 kilometer depth and that is harnessed. Let us see how it works. This is the flow chart of the ocean thermal energy. The top layer of the sea is of about 24 degrees Celsius and the bottom layer is of 4 degrees Celsius. The difference counts to 20 degrees Celsius. That temperature is used for boiling of the ammonia, because we cannot boil water with just 20 degree, and therefore, we are using the low boiling point liquid ammonia, and that gets evaporated, and that vapor of the ammonia rotates the turbine, it rotates the coil in between the powerful magnets and electricity is produced. And I can show you the diagram also, schematic diagram. Look at the waves. Curved line in red color represents the surface of the water. The top surface will be at 24 degree and the line, blue line, represents the depth of the sea, and there we have 4 degrees Celsius. The difference will be 20 degree nearly, and this difference is actually used. For that 20 degree itself, ammonia gets evaporated. You can see the evaporator. That evaporator evaporates the ammonia and that rotates the turbine. In turn, the turbine rotates the coil in the generator and electricity is produced. After this, the ammonia is condensed using the cold water from the bottom of the sea, and then that is pumped to the evaporator again. The circular discs what you can see in the schematic diagram, they are the pumps. The cold ammonia is pumped to the evaporator section again, and that is how it works, and we are using ocean thermal energy like this. And next is geothermal energy. It is the energy obtained from the heat of the molten rocks of the earth's crust. If you observe the diagram, you can understand that. Magma from the inner parts of the earth gets collected at some points. In case underwater comes in contact with the magma, it gets converted into steam. That steam is used and that rotates the turbine. In turn, this rotates the coil in the generator and electricity is produced and it is taken away in the grids. All these sources of energies, what you observe now, that tidal energy, wave energy and ocean thermal energy and geothermal energy, all these source of energies are limited. That means, the places where we can harness this kind of energy is limited, and the establishment cost is also more, and there will be a maintenance problem, because we have to establish these things under the sea. Therefore, there will be a damage by the animals which are moving under the sea. And for geothermal energies also, the places where we can get this kind of steam is limited. Therefore, these kind of energies are in limited usage. Therefore, more suitable form of energy or which is economical, we have to go for that. Under that, we have one option, that is nuclear energy. It is the energy generated in the process of nuclear fission. Nuclear fission means a nucleus of an heavy atom, namely uranium, thorium, and these kind of heavy atoms are bombarded with neutrons. By this, they get split into lighter nuclei and they give out enormous amount of energy. Therefore, it is known as nuclear energy. We get the energy from the nucleus of heavy atoms. This is a chain reaction. It happens like this. Look at the animation. The nucleus of atom is bombarded with neutron and splits into 2 lighter nuclei, and 3 more neutrons are obtained, and again those neutrons hit the other nucleus and the chain reaction continues. So, we have to harness this kind of energy in a controlled manner. Look at this diagram. This is the schematic diagram of nuclear power plant. What you can see in the red color is the core of the plant. Their fuel, nuclear fuel uranium, is bombarded with the slow moving neutrons. So, once the chain reaction is set up, it liberates large amount of energy of about megawatts. Let me compare this nuclear energy to the other source of energy. When we burn 1 gram of carbon, whatever the energy we are getting million times more energy just by splitting 1 atom of the uranium. So, that much enormous amount of energy we are getting from this. It works in this way. Uranium is bombarded with lighter nuclei and chain reaction sets up. So, look at the small rods which are inserted into the chamber. They are the controlling rods. Without them, this will blast into a atomic bomb. Therefore, this has to be carried out very carefully in a controlled manner. So, once this energy is harnessed, that is used for boiling the water, and the boiled water, when it is converted into steam, that rotates the turbine. You can see that in the diagram, and the turbine is connected to the coil of the generator that rotates the coil in between the magnets, and electricity is produced, and the steam is again cooled and then pumped to the steam chamber again. This cycle completes, or this cycle continues, giving out the energy. But this nuclear energy is very much harmful. Let us see the disadvantages of this energy. D.D. Kosambi, a notable thinker, opposed the nuclear power plants in India at the planning stage itself, that is in 1950, and he proposed the use of solar energy because the availability of the uranium is limited, hence it can be considered a non-renewable source of energy. The radioactive waste causes the health hazards, but still we are depending on this because of the great demand we have. Even the workers are affected by the radiation. The cost of establishment is very high. Any damage or accident in the nuclear power plant is highly dangerous, because the uranium or the thorium what we use in the nuclear power plants are radioactive. That means they will be giving out energy continuously. Even the waste materials also they give out radiations. So, managing them is very much difficult. You can just recall Fukushima nuclear power plant damage or the Chernobyl accident. So, there lot of people they gave their life for the nuclear hazards. Okay children, every source of energy has its own disadvantage and also advantage. So, while harnessing these energies, we have to consider very crucial points like the easy availability, the cost effectiveness, effect of these energy sources on the environment, and the overall efficiency, economy of the source of energy. All these points we have to consider, and we have to choose the suitable source of energy. And in your view, which is the energy of the future? Yes, the renewable source of energy are promising as the future sources. I hope you understood what we have learned in the present session. Let us have a quiz now. The first question: solar water heater cannot be used to get hot water on the options like this: sunny day, a cloudy day, a hot day and a windy day. I hope you get the answer. Yes, the answer is cloudy day. Next question: which of the following is not an example for biomass energy source? Look at the options: wood, gobar gas, nuclear energy and coal. Out of these, which is not from the biomass? I hope you know the answer. Yes, the right answer is nuclear energy. The other three sources are biomass itself. Third question: most of the source of energy we use represent stored solar energy. Which of the following is not ultimately derived from the sun's energy? The options: geothermal, wind energy, nuclear energy and biomass. You have to think a little, you will get the answer. Hope you got the answer. Let us see the right answer. The right answer is nuclear energy. These other three sources, they are indirectly from the solar energy itself, whereas nuclear energy is not from the sun's energy. The fourth question: non-example for energy from sea. Which is the answer? Yes, the right answer is geothermal energy, whereas tidal energy, wave energy and ocean thermal energy are the energy from the sea. The last question: nuclear fuel among the following is dash: uranium, thorium, plutonium and all the above. You know the answer? Yes, the right answer is all the above. All of them are used in nuclear power plant, and this was a quiz. Hope you got out of out. Congratulations. For extended learning, you do these assignments at your home with the help of your parents or friends, and you can ask your teachers also. What are the effects of growing demand for energy on the environment? That is the first question. You have to answer this. You can refer the links given in the previous class, or you can also refer other books. Next question: what are the measures you suggest to reduce the use of petroleum? Petroleum is a fossil fuel which is causing lot of environment issues. Therefore, you have to suggest to reduce the use of petroleum. Till now, you listen to the lesson with patience. Thank you very much.